Okay, let's see if this works. Fixed. Excellent. Greatness awaits. Okay, well, I'm actually live now. Let's make this listed. Public. Save changes. Cool. Cool, we've done it. We're live. Copy. Cool. Well, welcome to the live stream. Hey guys. Hey, it's been a minute. All I had to do was reset all of the OBS settings. I just started a default instance of OBS. I mean, I lost like a lot of the cool stuff I did to it, but I guess that cool stuff broke it. So, also, if anybody knows how to make desktop audio work on Mac, that'd be awesome. You know, because then I could like play music through here. I mean, I would get copyright striked, but probably like my own music or something, you know? Because I've been like routing everything through Ableton right now. Oh, you don't want to hear my guitar though. It's heavy metal right now. So, okay. Well, we got live streamers. Let's do this. I'm going to actually open up my YouTube settings. Hooray. Awesome. 6 people viewing. We've done it. We've actually done it. Also, how's the audio quality today? I made some changes. A little bit closer to the mic today. So let me know how it goes. I want to hear your thoughts, your opinions. What you think of Bitcoin? Just kidding. That's my job. Guess what Bitcoin's been doing? It's been trading laterally as defined by our most overexpanded period. Let's set up those bands real quick, and then I'll record the trading view idea alongside of it. Okay? Ooh, that's actually kind of a bullish sign right here. This bad boy. This candle right here. So like maybe 6 candles ago. That was a long signal. Okay, I need to load the right band lengths. Let's do this. Okay, we need to look at the 110 band. That's right. Okay, because the 110 band's defining our lateral range. Oh goodness. Cool. I'm going to eat a cracker, and then let's get to it. Let's get right on it. There's 1,000 calories in a box of Wheat Thins, if you didn't know that. The more you know. Okay. Let's do this. Hey folks, welcome to today's Bitcoin update. So, really important note, our previous 4 trading view ideas predicted lateral trading as defined by the 110 period at 1.25 standard deviation. That is exactly what's happened these last few days, right? Because as soon as we re-enter this band right here, price trades laterally as defined by the band. And that's all that's happened. We've just gone sideways, sideways, sideways. Hooray. Okay, important note. Right, our longest overexpanded period was the 110. Guess what? It is no longer yellow. We have sufficiently compressed for the 110 period to allow for trending outside of this band. Okay? Because the slope of probability volatility does not support the direction of trending. In other words, this slope is aggressively down. Price is attempting to trend up. We are liable to see high price volatility at this key pivot. So I'm predicting we're going to get some chop right here before price action actually commits to a direction. Okay? And guys, this is very important to note. Yes, we do have some short-term expansion of this fastest distribution. And that means, well, it's the leading indicator on which way trend is going to be. All right? Our short-term distributions are moving to the upside. And because of that, their expansion means that, well, the rest of the periods should theoretically follow. Think about it like this. You've got a bunch of balls on the middle of a seesaw. If the lightest ball starts rolling towards the right size, it is implied the rest of the balls will follow, okay? Right? Because the more mass that moves to the right side of the seesaw well, the more weight is going to move over there, and the more the seesaw will tilt in that direction. So, by getting this initial tilting of the seesaw, it is implied that we're seeing the beginning of trending. Now, because of this, it also means it wouldn't take all that much force in the other direction to cancel that out. So that does make this a bit of a risky time to actually be in any kind of trade for Bitcoin. Okay, I do recommend keeping your stop losses tight. Sure, there is some short-term bullish implications, but it will be very easy to cancel out because of the lack of weight in the bullish direction. Okay, if we take a look at the 4-hour chart, we can also describe the way this is compressing. And looks like our volatility overhead has compressed rather nicely. As far as longer term trending goes, it is possible we're going to get a nice significant move here, okay? In this particular instance, the 70 period is the longest overexpanded. So let's get that going right here. And that's going to look a little sloppy because the 50's in there as well. So let's hide the 50 real quick. Beautiful. Okay. That is wonderfully compressed, right? So we are getting that new weighting in the short-term distribution on the 1 hour, but there is absolutely no bias here on the 4-hour chart. So short-term distributional subsets on the move is a good indication of the beginning of trend. However, they are significantly lower probability. Really, your best scenario is to wait until trend actually begins to catch your entry. If you do want to have some very small long positions open at this time, that would be acceptable. However, I really need to point out how significant the risk is right now. If we pop over to the daily chart, we're going to get some interesting results as well. Okay, our longest overexpanded period on the daily chart is the 250 band. So when we load up the 250 period distribution, guess what's going to happen? It's defining our trend for the daily chart. Okay, as long as we're below the bottom edge of the 250 distribution, it is implied we will be in a sustained downward trend. And so far, that is exactly what's happening. I would not be surprised if we popped up to retest that pivot before further rejection, right? Because the moment we cross inside this pivot, mean reversion to $6,000 would be implied. And quite honestly, the buying pressure isn't there for that significant of a move. So with this current chart, I very much recommend short-term long positions that won't go up above this pivot here. If we do get upward moves above this pivot, very much look for the appropriate CCI roll that leads to our nice mean reversion. Again, that is the lower probability scenario, and I do recommend being very careful on that front because retests of the weekly 200 moving average, I didn't draw that quite right. Okay, not again. It's something like that, sure. Right, retest of that weekly 200 moving average is going to bounce along sideways while our long-term distribution sees lateral mean reversion, meaning the mean travels down to meet price, allowing for this most overexpanded distribution to significantly compress. As soon as mean period volatility does weight itself to the upside, that will be the start of the next bull run for Bitcoin. However, that is at least a half a year out, right? This overexpanded distribution could be seen as the last downward leg of the bear market, okay? Now, as soon as this 250 distribution begins compressing, that is going to be the best case scenario for us, okay? Because when we return inside this band, it will be very difficult for price to break once again outside of it, right? Now, it is likely we're going to continuously bounce along the bottom edge, and let's take a look at the long-term chart for Bitcoin, at least the previous crash pattern, to see how the previous fractal played this scenario. Let's pop back and look at the previous here, and just give it one moment. Beautiful. And we will change this to the 200 distribution. Perfect. Okay. So, and let's have the 50 open as well, so we can better explain the concept of mean period volatility. Okay, right? So in this entire area, our short-term distributions are weighted below our long-term distributions. That does not make for very good trading. So what happens next is when we return inside this distribution and the mean travels down to meet price, you'll see the lack of volatility overhead all throughout here. You see how everything is nice and blue? That means there's sufficient compression across all periods to allow for the beginning of trend once more. Okay? As soon as we get our nice upward break, and this was a decent fake out, right? But upward expansion is significant. As soon as we see repeated upward expansion, that signifies the beginning of a long-term trend for Bitcoin, and lo and behold, it starts the next bull run. That's what we need for Bitcoin, guys. Positively weighted mean period volatility with no volatility overhead. Okay? That's the plan for Bitcoin, guys. I hope you enjoyed this update, and I will see you again tomorrow. Perfect. So, let's check out the charts you guys wanted me to talk about. Live stream questions. AUDNZD, that's a good idea. Right. Okay, looks like we're getting a little bit of a bearish drop here. Shot over on the daily. My. That is quite the bearish drop. Okay, our long-term target of mean inversion did not hit. However, from our entry point to our swing high, that was 110 pips. Decent. All right, let's figure out how we would have taken profit on this as soon as we saw our downward expansion. Okay. All right, I'm really getting some strong implications that this was a fundamental move because we actually ignored the volatility overhead and saw continuous downward expansion regardless of this compressing period. So, as soon as this downward expansion begins, and it's quite nice, honestly, how quickly this expanded. Right, the new plume was, I think, might have been the giveaway here. Because this expansion ignored the volatility overhead. And then actually, it's kind of interesting to note. Guys, do you see how this overhead here actually prevents the overexpansion from the smaller plume? That is excellently curious. However, no, this is now in a downward trend. I guess we have some short-term overexpanded distributions. Might see a bear flag at this location, and then we'll see where the next projection pivot goes. This was a good long position from this location. However, it does appear, well, it has failed, at least for the long-term mean reversion. Fundamental news can cause mean reversions to fail, and it was a good position while it lasted. Let's go ahead and pop over to EOS BTC. No opinion, I'm going to want some upwardly weighted mean period volatility to actually call anything here. Unfortunately, I currently do not have, well, we're going to have to go to the daily. Because this downward move was significant. Let's look at the 80 period real quick, okay? I'm going to guess the 80 period mean inversion already completed. Yeah, it did. Okay, so really, I can't make that much of a recommendation. We did have one long opportunity. When this band re-entered, price would revert to its relative mean. It did, and now we are trading laterally as defined by the compressing band. So really, for EOS, we're just going to see a wide range of lateral trading, like so. If you get any longs from the bottom or shorts from the top, that's going to be your best bet scenario, okay? Take a look at GVT. Nice. We did have a nice long position at this location from the breakout of the pitchfork and the new upward expansion. If I recall correctly, that was a 120% move. 180%. Wow. Okay, I guess really not a breakout yet. It seems like the previous one failed. We did have some brief upwardly weighted mean period volatility. Guess for this expansion, we're going to look at the 50 period. Might be testing that. You know, because the previous one failed, I might not actually take a bet on this. And it looks like we're reverting to the 50 mean now. Yeah. After we touch down on the 50 mean there, you can attempt a long position, but it's nothing too solid. Okay? Because mean inversion doesn't imply support. DNT. Isn't that breaking out today? It is. Ooh, nice. Clean chart. Sure, mate. You just... Okay, I can make a recommendation on this. 14 period CCI roll to the upside. Take it. Let's set an alert for that, okay? Nice. If that alarm goes off, I might call this because it's a clean chart. And I'm going to look at BQX and then I'm going to cut this live stream short because I want to go hiking. Curious. Let's define this retracement value. $300 period. Let's give it a try. Okay. Yeah, if you want to attempt to catch it on this support here, that might be your best bet. It looks pretty good. Beautiful. Yeah, and if that support does fail, we will see a full retracement back down to previous support. So it's going to be a bit more risky trade. I'll take SNT as our last coin here. Ooh, this is good. Nicely defined trend. 300 period is accurate. Nice. If we get the CCI roll up, I might even call this. So that is very bullish. However, it is important to note 50 distribution does need to... That's actually downward expanding because this was such a significant move. Curious. Okay, I might call along in this later today. It's a clean chart. I mean, it's an obvious trend. And it would match up with that kind of parabolic direction, if you will. Okay. I could see that play out. All right, folks, this has been pretty fun. I'll talk to you all later. I'm happy to have this live stream up and going. See you, folks.